Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about Salem, and was it a wasted TV show? To start off with a disclaimer, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't finish Salem. I couldn't get past half of season 3. It gave me tonal whiplash that I couldn't recover from. I'm literally only finishing it because of this review. Otherwise, I was just going to leave it alone. But sadly, I had to finish it to get all the details for this video. Wish me luck. As you guys know, I like to start off with the acting first and go on from there. So the acting. For the majority, everybody did a really good job. I didn't ever really get the feeling someone was flat or overacting, but I gotta say, there are 3 people who I think did a better job than most, and they're also my favorite characters. And they are Mary Sibley, Tituba, and Cotton. No one else in the show did what they were doing, acting-wise. Now some came close, but didn't hit the mark for me. And if there is one person I'd call up for their acting, it's Mercy. She came off very annoying, if anything else, than the seductive, revengeful witch the writers were going for. But I don't fault her because she wasn't given much to work with. I know she had much more range than what she had shown us. She was just wasted entirely, but I'll get more into that in her character chapter. I'm going to try something different in this chapter. For the characters, I'm going to explain their character arcs and development throughout the seasons, but broken down. And when I get to season 3 about them, that's my final thoughts about them. And trust me, you guys will think I'm crazy for how many times my views on the character changes. And please, tell me in the comments below after finishing this chapter, did your views on the character change as many times as mine did? So first we have the main character herself, Mary Sibley. And Mary was amazing in season 1. She was the ultimate manipulator, and it was nice to see how she turned that way. We see that she was manipulated by the Essex witches to give up her baby and turn herself into a witch. Then she was married to George Sibley to gain a place of status in Salem. As we watch season 1, we see Mary make many sneaky moves to complete the grand rite, and by the end, she succeeds, which is believable. Now in season 2, this is where the writers dropped the ball for me, of course. When she found out her son was still alive, she turned into this person I wasn't used to watching. It was like all of her senses turned off when it came to this boy, and it was crazy how many times she cried over him. But in season 3, they brought back some aspects of her I loved in season 1, which made me love her in the last season, and I was so happy when she finally got her happy ending. She deserves it. Now we're on to Tituba. In season 1, Tituba is very ambitious and determined. We learned that she was originally from the Arawak tribe until she was abducted from her homeland and was sold into slavery. We also learned that it was the Puritans that took advantage of her mother and sister and killed her father. She was then sold to the Wolcotts, growing close to their daughter Mary, and throughout that time, she was visited by the devil, who took care of her, gave her magic, and taught her everything he knows, which helps her take the right steps for revenge on the Puritans. Finally, we learn in season 1 she began and keeps Mary on the path to complete the grand rite. Now in season 2, Tituba basically keeps the same momentum. She still has the same goals, complete the next steps of the grand rite, and do whatever it takes. And finally, we have season 3, and this is where my opinions change about her. She became so gullible, to the point where she actually thinks the devil's going to give her what she wants. But by the end, she becomes a slave again, sadly. But I did like her golden eyes and black cat familiar this season. Next is Cotton. He's essentially the best male character. He knows how to steal a scene when in one. Now I'm not gonna lie, in season 1, I didn't focus that much on him. I know he became a Puritan reverend because he was baptized to live up to his family heritage. And I know he was known for doing the devil's tango with Gloriana until she was accused of being a witch, so she was banned from Salem. And I know that Mary tricked him into killing his father to completing the grand rite. Now in season 2, he's basically a mess, but his story is more intriguing. 2 highlights are his friendship with John Alden was nice to watch, seeing as I don't think they were that close in season 1. And seeing his relationship with Anne develop in the first half, because as we all know in the later half of the season, Anne went crazy. Now I feel like the writers knew season 3 was going to be garbage, but they said Cotton won't though. He had amazing one-liners. One of the funniest things ever said in the show was when Cotton said he'd rather go to hell than be in a relationship with Anne. We have the infamous John Alden, the character who I could never get into. Now, in season 1, he was a tragic character. He was in love with Mary and they were expecting a child, but unfortunately, he was sent to the war by George Sibley and was expected to die. But he survived, and when he returned to Salem, he had discovered the man who sent him to his death was married to the woman he loved. Tragic. And I love by the end of the season, he had accepted Mary as a witch and was fully prepared to run away with her. Then he was shot, brainwashed, and turned into a witch hunter in season 2. And I was here for all of it. It kind of saved his character for me, but only momentarily, because once he found out he had a son, he became this whiny dad, and I didn't like that character shift. And in season 3 as a whole, I just stopped paying attention to him. I actively skipped his scenes. He was so boring. And he killed Sebastian, which ended up making me like him at the end of the day. Next is Mercy, one of the most annoying people in Salem as a whole. Through season 1 and season 2, I was planning her death in my head. I needed her to go. Her main problem is that she has no agency. For half of season 1, she was used as a tool to try and figure out who was a witch, and Mary Sibley had placed her familiar inside of her to control her. She was treated like an animal, which is sad because, as we learn, her father and many more take advantage of their daughters, and nothing is done. And then, to give her a sense of power, Mary turned her into a witch. And to be honest, I didn't like it, but hey, there wasn't anything I could do about it. And this is when we can see that she's turning darker. One of the first things she did with her magic is kill someone. And then when she teamed up with Countess Marburg, I started to skip her scene, because they turned the annoyingness up to another level. However, in season 3, I like she was doing her own thing. She had her own little brothel, and finally a storyline that fits her. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda mad when she died at the end. She had finally found her footing. Countess Marburg and Sebastian. I hate these two with a passion. Marburg is a wannabe relevant loser, and Sebastian is a lovesick, pathetic puppy. I'll start with the Countess. Her motive throughout the show was to be the one to use the boy to let the devil use him as a host and then serve the devil. Now the story itself is intriguing, but come to find out she's trying to take all the credit for Mary's hard work just because she has this sycophantic love for the devil. And speaking of sycophantic love, Sebastian did way too much for me in season 3. He was bearable in season 2 with his weird obsession with Mary, but in season 3, some unspeakable things were done, and by the end, I was ready to vomit. So if you know, you know. So when John Alden killed him and Anne killed Marburg, I threw my phone and did 3 cartwheels, but if I'm being honest, they were the best villains Salem ever saw. We have the crazy woman herself, Anne Hale. Now season 1 Anne is another person who I didn't pay attention to, and I'm going to get into why I didn't pay attention to some people, but when season 2 hit, Anne became my favorite character. I loved her journey and how she used her power to aid her in certain moments. She was everything I was looking for in a character in this entire series. She had a good storyline, a good balanced relationship, cool usage of magic, and a good personality. She was beating out a lot of her counterparts. However, when Countess Marburg told her she was her daughter, her character went into the toilet and the writers had no problem flushing it. She started doing everything out of character. She let the devil back on the earth. She started a relationship with her brother, yes, incest. She killed off half of the characters, and then they tried to play it off as, oh, men ruined my life, that's why I'm like that. It's all bull though. The build up for her villain arc was terrible. Literally, out of everybody, why Anne? That's what I was left feeling, why Anne? And couldn't be the Countess? Her character didn't deserve this mistreatment. Now we have the devil himself, who was a weak villain. He had some cool moments, but did a whole lot of nothing. For the devil, I surely wasn't scared of him. And I hate how that happens across all media, cause this happened in the chilling adventures of Sabrina too. This is supposed to be a fallen angel, the ruler of hell. So it's like, why are they treated like normal warlocks? Like, you mean to tell me he can tell that Countess Marburg and Mary had switched bodies, and then Anne just killed him by stabbing him? But like I said before, he does have some good moments. I like the dollhouse he created that showed everyone movements in the house, and I like how he was powerful enough to kill the Essex mother. And I think that's pretty much it for me. Oh wait, and he was also partaking in incest before he got possessed. The origin of the witches in Salem is that The Essex witches are humans who make a pact with the devil in exchange for their souls. Now, this isn't always the case. You could be a cradle witch. There are born witches who are more powerful, but they both still have to lie down with the devil. So now that that's cleared, the magic in the show is intriguing, but I feel like it was underdeveloped. One reason why is that they barely used it. They did a whole lot of talking, and when it was time to showcase their magic, it was like they forgot they had it. Next is, most of the magic in the show was a ritual, and it was so drawn out. But when the magic was good, it was good. In my opinion, the strongest witches in the show, in order, is Anne Hale, Mary Sibley, Countess Mauberg, Tituba, Sebastian, then Mercy. And I put Anne first because if you watch the show, you know she was on fire. It's like she could do everything. So to summarize, less rituals and more innate magic. To end this review, I'm going to start off with the seasons. Season 1 was boring, and that's why I didn't focus on that many characters. If they didn't offer anything to the story, I didn't watch them. All they mainly did was talk, 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 and talk. But Season 2 picked up where Season 1 was lacking. It was the best season. Well, the first half. Character development was getting better, and there was time to shine. Even the new villains, I think they were crap, but they were very effective and good at pushing the story. And Season 3 is a mess. We're just going to leave it at that. Now the characters. I cannot realistically tell you who these people are. That's why I was so vague when describing them. They changed one too many times to fit the story. But even saying all that, I recommend this series 100%. Well, Season 1 and Season 2. Please don't ever watch Season 3. I know you might be curious about it, but please just leave it alone.